Hello and thanks for tuning in to this month's Market Watch. In this video I'm going to take a look at what seasonal moves we can expect through the month of June. But more importantly, what we should be looking out for from our cut data if those moves are actually going to take place. I'm going to focus on a small number of the markets. If you want to check out the rest for yourself, please do so by visiting our website. I'm just going to start by looking at the heat map that we have on our site, which shows the best and worst performing markets each month. You will see that this month through June, just looking at here, the indices perform badly, and also at the bottom of our list we see a lot of our agricultural markets big moves through that either upside or downside. We'll be looking at quite a few of those. Before that, I just want to start with our Forex. Not particularly big movement it shows for the month of June, but there's actually a lot of tops and bottoms that we can see through June. Pound is 1-3 here. You'll see we're set at the moment for a continuation of the rally, a possible top before weakness between the middle of the month, so that'll be an interesting to look out for. Also, our yen, we typically see yen strengthening through this time of the year, starting to strengthen through now. Runs along with bonds and gold as well, so that's one to look out for. And also another one, Kiwi. We've seen Kiwi actually put in a low recently, and it is seasonally bullish through June and into July, so that's one to look for continuation of strength. Another one I want to focus on here is actually Euro. We've seen Euro perform very well through March and April. We typically see a bit of a decline in May. It did pause through early May before continuation. Typically see with continuations through into mid-June, very similar to pound on that, and which could be very interesting for us for possibly looking for that short. I just go right over onto our cut data. We're seeing a very interesting positioning on Euro. Look across here, we've seen a large rally, and we've seen big positionings on both sides of the fence. We've seen commercials getting very heavily short and building up an all-time short position here on the Euro, as you'd expect whenever we see a market rally. Also on the other side, we've seen the speculators really change their positions. They have been heavily short at the lows, and they've really been closing out those positions, especially in that last rally we've had in the last few weeks. Interestingly though, they haven't been buying into the current rally, so trend followers hasn't been buying in. They haven't reached a new high in the long side, so which is very bearish for it, along with the fact obviously commercials have built up an all-time short position. So I do see a major high coming on the Euro. It would possibly signify or coincide nicely with that midpoint in mid-June. I would love to see it reach sort of the 114 area, 114, 114.50, which isn't that far away. But yes, if we can get something drawn towards that point, I think that could trigger the major peak that we're expecting to see here in Europe. The other markets going into our equities, which I referred to. Equities don't perform well through the month of June. You'll see the S&P a little roll over into the decline, especially see it a bit more pronounced here in the Dow. Starts off looking okay and then rolling over. So yeah, not a good month. We're looking on the long side and into the NASDAQ here as well. So a very common theme across that. We typically see a rally towards the end of the month. And if we go over into our cut data again, you see that actually sitting in a very nice position for that. We can see the commercials have got a little bit more bullish here on the Dow, mainly driven. You can see the shorts declining, and they're typically always a sell side. Them getting bullish is a reduction of their shorts, so that has put them a little bit more bullish, and we're looking for another little continuation, another week or two, I think, into the middle of the month. But interestingly, on the buy side, or trend followers, they're not buying these dips whatsoever. Not seen any buy interest on this dip, actually declining. So long interest is really getting tired up here, which is not good for the continuation of this rally, which would be in line with what you'd expect to see in a seasonal decline coming in through June. The NASDAQ also is a very similar pattern, is actually a little bit more pronounced. You'll see a rollover of the longs just here on the speculators. That last little rally that we've had over the last few weeks, and they haven't bought it at all, so we're getting very tired, and it's going to be very hard for a rally to sustain if nobody's buying into it. So yeah, it's looking very likely we'll see a continuation of that seasonal pattern. Look for a little bit of a push into June, but then a little rollover and a decline towards the midpoint, mid to end of June. A couple of other markets now I want to focus on is some of our major soft markets. They're, interestingly, as I said earlier, some of your energy and our metals and our grains actually put in major tops and bottoms through the month of June as well. I'll let you dig out those for yourselves. I want to focus on a couple of these soft markets. First one is cocoa. Sits nicely. We've seen a rally through April, and we're sitting in a position now we could see a further rally coming into June, right through June. July is typically good months for cocoa. Coffee is another one. After being under pressure for a number of months, typically makes a bit of a low through June. It starts to perform a little bit better. And the last one I want to take a look at is our sugar. Sugar's been massively under pressure for the last few months. But June signals the first point we start to see some positive movement to the upside in sugar before the main rally into September. So I want to take a look at those. Let's just go over and take a look at our COT data. Starting with cocoa, I've been getting a lot of emails about this, people asking when are we going to see a low put in after this major decline. A lot of people trying to catch these bottoms. And the major problem for cocoa, as you'd expect in a big decline, there's been a huge short position built up on both sides. Trend followers obviously have been following this to the downside, but also commercials have held a huge short position up here. You see the peaks of the shorts, typically where we always see a peak in the market. Now, the one thing that's been interesting over the last few weeks, we've just seen a slight divergence. The first time in through here, we've seen the longs increase and the shorts decrease. That's the first time we actually did that throughout this period at the base. And that happened right down there at the bottom. So we're starting to see a little divergence. We've been happy to buy down through here, so we've seen a large long position being built up, but their short position has been too big. So we really want to see this short position by commercials drop off, and that will really improve the sentiment through here. Also, we'd want to see the speculative selling and expect to see that drop off as well. Interestingly, they have just started to increase their buys a little bit. You can see they're buying, making a little bit of a higher, just a higher low here on the buy side. Little price made a lower low end. It's starting to buy a little bit more, so it does appear that sentiment's changing a little bit there. So I think we're close to a major low coming into the seasonal period on cocoa. Coffee, a little bit early yet. I think for coffee, I think another little push lower would be nice. We can see the longs, a little bit of an increase on the longs, but I'd like to see more coming out of commercials. I'd like to see a little bit more in the commercials, so keep an eye on that. I think another further little push to the downside. Watch for the COT index pushing up towards the 100% area, and that would like to see that driven by commercial buying in here. So a little bit further down next week or two, and look for some increase in buying. Shorts is already dropping, which is good, but an increase in buying would be nice into the next couple of weeks. And the last one, sugar. Sugar has declined, massive, big decline over the last couple of months, even since the beginning of the year. We've seen commercials reduce their shorts massively, so they're not happy, they're not keen on selling down through here. You'll see, if I just hide the longs, you'll see the typical the areas that we get to where they decrease their shorts into, whenever we've actually seen major lows in this market. So I think as well with sugar, we're getting close to a low, but the only negative side at the moment, so it's a little bit early, is we're not seeing any interest on the buy side. Buy side very, very static in through here. So yeah. Whilst they're not selling at this price, they're not happy selling at this price, which is bullish on its own. We really want to see them building up a little bit on the buy side. So keep an eye out on that as well. So those are the main markets. Say there's three of those agricultural markets. The indices looking weak. A little retracement for a push on in towards the end of the month. And also euro, I think we're close to a major top and a big decline, but a little bit of a drive higher. In around that 114 would be a nice area. So that's it for this month. As always, if you have any questions, just drop us an email. But for now, happy trading.